Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha with Ice Cream Fitness here. Once again, I got a private message from a subscriber that I think needs to be shared with you guys, and I want to address it a little bit. But hold on, let me give you guys a bicep shot first. Okay, Alejandro asked, processed meats in 500,000 people linked to early deaths and cancer and suggest a limitation of 20 grams a day on the news. Bro science or genuine concern? All right, we all saw this recent news story, or at least a lot of us did, discussing processed meat and cardiovascular disease, and particularly cancer. If you guys start Googling up and looking to see what dietitians say and actual nutritional scientists say on this, we run into the same problem we run into every time one of these sensationalized news stories come out. And the problem is that this is what's called epidemiological research. And when you were discussing research, this type of research has the lowest priority of proof in anything dealing with nutritional science, meaning it only looks at a single variable across wide populations with no multivariate analysis or no concerns for other lifestyle factors in a completely uncontrolled environment where you can't isolate the different variables. You cannot, and it will be thrown out and rejected by nutritional scientists if the primary basis of your statement or your evidence is based upon epidemiological research, which is the whole reason we had this whole red meat scare for decades, was because it's the exact same problem and it's been thrown out now that they've been able to study it further. But it was all based upon the same type of research. Now, I'm not telling you that sodium nitrate might not be a carcinogen. I'm not telling you that you should eat unlimited amounts of these things. What I'm telling you is that the proof that this is the primary cause and not just a secondary contributing factor or just correlated because it goes hand in hand with something else, such as people eating lots of processed meats, eat more calories because it makes them hungry, which would be significant, but it would be something like an indirect factor because we know that being obese, regardless of what food you eat, doesn't matter whether it's coming from saturated fat, polyunsaturated fat, sugar, unprocessed carbs, or even overeating protein. Obesity, extra body fat, is absolutely linked with everything from diabetes, heart disease, to cancer. And so is being sedentary. Which brings us to the other point. Since we cannot prove causation here with the processed meats, I would recommend to you that since there at least seems to be a factor, maybe just keep them in moderation. Don't sit around eating a pound of bacon every day. But by that same token, focus on the factors that we know for a fact affect these. And if you're watching my channel, you probably already trained. But we know that the lifestyle factor that impacts cancer, cardiovascular disease, and diabetes more than any other lifestyle factor, including diet, it even trumps diet, hands down, is the amount of intense exercise you do. The more intense exercise, and by intense meaning moderately heavy weightlifting or heavy weightlifting, intense interval training, sprinting, things like that, the more of that you do, the lower your rates of all of those things. And there's actually, I've done videos explaining the science behind why it happens inside the body, but it absolutely happens for biochemical reasons that are measurable in your blood work. It's not just because you are more fit. It actually has to do with the way that your body processes different hormones and produces hormones in the body that are linked to cancer, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, everything. So intense exercise is the best thing you can do. And like with anything else, because this is completely unsubstantiated, you cannot take research like this and make these sort of sweeping claims. Well, you can, but only people who don't understand science are going to believe it. So I would say at least be cautious about it. Eat these things in moderation, but this is not a reason to completely avoid them. And instead, if you really and truly are concerned about cancer or heart disease, things like that, then the two things you need to do are train intensely and regularly and avoid becoming obese. Keep your body fat at a reasonable level when you bulk. Don't bulk to 25% body fat for men and 35% for women. Try to keep it under that. All right, guys, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you next time.